Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that he has not received vetting materials from Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign, as she has been endorsed by leaders across the spectrum, including Pritzker. So obviously we've been monitoring this. Governor of Illinois has been asked time and again if he has aspirations for higher office, and he denies that. Well, you've got headlines, as you'll see at thecentersquare.com, that break down potential running mates getting vetting materials from the Harris campaign. And some of the names that have been floated here have been governors from a variety of different states. So just going through this, as of Tuesday afternoon, report by the Wall Street Journal said that Harris's campaign sent vetting materials to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, swing state potential, North Carolina Governor Ray Cooper, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, and U.S. Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona. But you've got a separate report from USA Today listing the same names, but adding Louisiana Representative Cedric Richmond as a possible candidate. Again, Governor Pritzker's name was in that list, but on Morning Joe, the governor denied this. Here he is Tuesday, as the Morning Joe shared on X of a conversation they had with the governor in Illinois discussing, whether or not he is going to be vetted for vice presidential material.
Governor Pritzker, you, of course, endorsed Vice President Harris yesterday. Have you received any vetting materials from her campaign about possibly being her running mate?
No.
And if you do, would you be interested in the job?
Look, I love being the governor of the state of Illinois, and I've been out on the campaign trail fighting hard for Democrats to win. I was in Indiana and Ohio last week. I'm going to be in Tennessee and Arizona. I, as you know, started an organization called Think Big America that's fighting for reproductive rights. We did it in Ohio. We're doing it in Arizona, in Nevada. It's important to me that we win across the board and all across the United States. So I'm going to continue to do that. And I'm very interested in making sure that Kamala Harris becomes the next president of the United States.
So again, the governor denying that he's gotten any vetting materials. Will that change by the end of the week? Not sure, but I don't know if that means we can say that the governor is no longer being considered. So obviously, if he is considered and he is running and the Democrats win, we would have Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton become the next governor of Illinois. And here she is sharing a post on X about Kamala 2024, wearing a shirt. A woman's place is in the White House. And even the Democratic Party, the committee chairs from across the state retweeting that. And in particular, when it comes to the Democratic County Chairs Association, they did put out an endorsement of Harris for the office of president, indicating, quote, a strong show of grassroots support. Vice President Harris was endorsed by an overwhelming majority of the Democratic County Party chairs in Illinois. The president of the Illinois Democratic County Chairs Association, Mark Guthel, released a statement saying that this November, we know that democracy will be on the ballot, and we need a strong leader at the top of the tickets to help prosecute the case against Donald Trump. Vice President Harris has dedicated her life to defending our values and fighting for everyday Americans. She was quickly brought together a large coalition of support that will be needed to stop Trump and his MAGA extremists. The IDCCA is proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with her in this fight. So again, that's the statements that the Democratic County Chairs Association from Illinois posted. But if you look at elsewhere, you see some criticism, even from some who may be considered part of the Democrat base. If you look at Black Lives Matter's post on X, they said timeline of events, and we'll just read through this together. It says Sunday, Joe Biden drops out. Kamala Harris has announced his campaign with Biden endorsement. Kamala Harris says she's going to work hard to earn the nomination. Kamala Harris makes calls to party delegates. Monday, Kamala Harris continues making calls to party delegates. Kamala Harris makes 2 public speeches. AP announces Kamala Harris has secured enough delegates to be the Democratic nominee Monday night. Kamala Harris releases this statement noting that she has worked hard to go out and earn this nomination as promised, again, Monday night. A 24-hour process, Black Lives Matter posted, of talking to party bosses is not democratic, nor is it a process Democrats should be proud of. We do not live in a dictatorship. Delegates are not oligarchs. Installing Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee and an unknown vice president without any public voting process would make the modern Democratic Party a party of hypocrites. Again, this is coming from the Black Lives Matter X post. And they say that they call on the DNC to create a process that allows for public participation in the nominating process, not just a nomination by party delegates. As we talked about yesterday, I think I said 760,000. It was actually closer to 740,000 votes that Democrats gave to Joe Biden in the March primary. Kamala Harris being a VP on that ticket, a known, but those votes, people were going to vote for Biden. And again, he got 91+% of the Democrats' votes in the March primary. But he's not the nominee. He has withdrawn or suspended his campaign and endorsed Kamala Harris. So there's still some frustrations, I think, with people looking at this process. And while the Democrats' rules might allow for this when it comes to the convention, people are still kind of, looking at this critically, saying that this is not a democratic process. And again, I point to the Black Lives Matter post that was made saying that a 24-hour process of talking to party bosses is not democratic, nor is it a process Democrats should be proud of. We do not live in a dictatorship. Delegates are not oligarchs. So when it comes to the voting process, you've got a lot of questions about the way Illinois votes, and in particular, questions of, do we have election day? Do we have election week? Or is it longer? Last week, outside the Republican National Convention and inside the convention hall, the Republicans in Illinois did raise concerns about the process of voting. Here is former GOP chairman for the state of Illinois, Don Tracy, talking about, how Illinois goes about voting.
It used to be we had election day. Now we have election season. It used to be we didn't have same day registration, and now we do. And that creates chaos for the county clerks in Illinois who administer the election. It used to be that we stopped counting the ballots on election night, and we stopped receiving them. In Illinois now, they come in 14 days later. It used to be you had to have an excuse to vote by mail, and now it's universal mail-in balloting, and it's gone from like 1 or 2 or 3% up to 30 or 40%, and that creates all kinds of issues. It creates issues with people that want to take advantage of the system, game the system, but also just makes it a harder job for the county clerks who administer our elections. So a lot of the issues are just errors because it's just so chaotic with all the voting mail. And then with voting by mail, the one thing you have for election integrity guardrail is signature verification. And in Illinois, it used to be you could only do that. You had to match the signature with the registration. But in DuPage County, they decided they're going to match it against the application for the ballot, which a trial judge in DuPage County said was a recipe for fraud. So all of these things have made election integrity critically important, so important it needs to be a year-round effort now instead of just 40 days out.
And that last part there being pretty crucial about the signature verification, especially when it comes to the issue of, the signature verification Don Tracy spoke of there in DuPage County led to state legislators changing that whole process. So when you get the universal vote by mail application, you sign that and you send it in. Should be the same signature that's on your initial voter registration card. So that signature verification should happen there.
To work within the rules.
But you've got the, and that was Kathy Salvi. We'll get to that in a moment here. But you've got the question as well of, are they also checking that vote by mail application to the initial voter registration card? That was something that necessarily wasn't taking place. So they Democrats went in and cleaned up these rules, and they passed that legislation. So we do have signature verification, but still some concerns as to how voting takes place in the state of Illinois. I asked Kathy Salvi, the new Illinois GOP chairman, some of her thoughts on what Republicans are going to be doing to ensure voter integrity.
Well, we need to work within the rules that we have in Illinois, and we don't have voter ID in Illinois. We do have signature verification, so we work within the rules that we have in order to ensure that every legitimate vote is counted and every cheat is discovered. We have a very aggressive effort of training poll watchers and election judges to some of the tricks. And I tell you, I had somebody come out here today and say that they can't even get their relative off of the rolls in Cook County, and they voted last election even though they've been in the graveyard for a long time. So that's part of the dirty tricks that we need to curve and clean those voter rolls. And I would applaud what's happening with in the state of Illinois in order to scrub the voter rolls through the Judicial Watch lawsuit, which was supported. And I'd rather not get into all the details, but good things are happening in Illinois on election integrity, and they'll continue to happen, and we will continue to grow and win elections. And then the test of our leadership will be there as proof that we can do it here in Illinois.
So Republicans going out and being trained as poll watchers, but even up in Chicago last week, outside of Milwaukee, you had black leaders from the Chicago area, and a pastor from Harvey, David Lowry Jr., he shared some of his thoughts of what he saw in previous elections as a poll watcher.
Together, but let this be clear. As a contractor for the Heritage Foundation during the primary season, we sent teams out to the polling places in the black community, and we found exactly what President Trump was talking about. We found thumb drives, we found the printers, we found Democratic judges who was posing as Republican judges. So it's the polls that's being inundated with the cheating. We have receipts for everything I've said. I also saw in those polling places where the Democrats were telling people that there are no Republican ballots. It's so many things going on in these polling places in the black community, and that's how the Democrats are able to keep and say Chicago is blue. But actually, if the polling places were straight, black people would have an opportunity to vote for whom they choose, not whom they're told to. And if the polling places aren't straight, they'll try to steal another election like they did in 2020.
So again, those are allegations made by David Lowry Jr. up in the Chicagoland area. He was standing with Republicans last week outside the Republican National Convention, urging voters to ditch Democrats. On the Democrat side, the Democratic Party of Illinois has a voter protection manager position that they say is going to be working to ensure that the vote is secure. The individuals will work closely with internal staff, volunteers, community organizers, and legal partners to ensure the integrity of the electoral process and protect voters' rights. So clearly, as we have a little over 2 months before early voting starts, keep that in mind, a little over 2 months before early voting starts. I believe it's around September 26th when early voting starts, 40 days prior to the November 5th election, which is a little over 100 days away. And all of this is going to ramp up as Democrats still don't know who their vice presidential candidate is going to be. So wake up with us each and every weekday morning with Illinois in Focus Daily. Appreciate you being part of it. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us as we give you what you need to know to start your day each and every weekday morning. Illinois in Focus Daily with America's Talking Network and the Center Square.